It's our time, it will make it count.
Welcome to Cupful Conversations, presented by the Good Old Girls Network and hosted by Monica Cost, a podcast you shouldn't listen to, don't have to like, and aren't expected to agree with unless you know your why. From caregiving and career transitions to mental health and money, relationships, divorce, dating, and many things in between. These are real conversations that pour back into you. So grab your cup, ladies, fill it up, and join us for Cupful Conversations.
It's our time, it will make it count. It's a life.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Monica Cost, founder of the Good Old Girls Network, and welcome to Cupful Conversations. As you know, the Good Old Girls Network is focused on women's fulfillment. And so here today, as part of that process, we're going to have a conversation about transitioning from a corporate space to owning a business, some of the ways or some of the things that our guest has learned, and I'll tell you about her in a second. And the goal, what I really want you to listen for here, is process. I will talk about some of the things that she wished she had known, some of the ways she's transitioned, and maybe some of the challenges, the highs and the lows. So who is here today is my girl Dee. DeAndrea Anderson is her full name. Dee had a long and storied and accomplished career in banking in corporate America, and was always just doing this. You know, it was never a surprise to us when Dee got a promotion or an award or things like that. She took the leap, left corporate, how many years ago now? 5 years ago, to run multiple companies, but we're going to talk about one in particular. And so I would like to welcome Dee to the show.
Thank you, Monica. I'm very excited to be here.
So I just want to talk initially about, had you ever even thought of being where you are today? If you look back on your...
No way. No way. Couldn't see it.
What did you think life would look like from a professional standpoint right now?
Oh, I was in investment banking. It was a great, prosperous career, and I thought I would probably die there.
And then you had the opportunity to make a decision whether you were going to stay in the corporate realm, even though you were leaving the company you were with. You kind of had to decide if you were going to stay or go. What was that decision like?
It was a decision that the universe made for me.
Okay.
And so I would say that I was so comfortable and married to this company. I was married to my profession. I was married to the idea of who I had become and who I was going to be, which was just continued growth where I was. And so it was a forced decision, because after 25 years in investment banking, I navigated a lot. Investment banking is a tough place to be. But I came across that guy, that manager, that was like, I think you've had enough. And he created such a toxic environment that I was forced to make a decision that I never thought I would have to make.
Interesting. So it's like you could have stayed and fought, or choose you and your peace.
Yep.
And you chose your peace.
I had to choose me.
You said something interesting about the married to the company and the idea.
Absolutely.
I can relate. What happens to make you feel married to a company?
A ton of things. I mean, I'd always had good career progression. I was in senior leadership. I had access to the CEO. I had been chosen to present for the company at the board of directors meeting. I mean, this is a major institution. And so I thought, they love me, I love them. We are blissfully married, and while we've had our ups and downs and my fights for various things over the years, I didn't see divorce in the future.
That is such an important point. And I think it's important because I've heard a lot of people say things like, oh, you can't ever forget at the end of the day, you're a woman, or you're a person of color, or you're this. It's so easy to say it when you're not the one being led down the yellow brick road to get to Oz, right?
Yes.
Because then it feels so good.
Yeah.
and the relationships are there,
Yeah.
right? It's not
Yeah.
surface stuff. It's
Nope.
like, you know these people.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you found out you were getting divorced?
Betrayed. I felt betrayed. Although I do fundamentally believe that when you are working and you get paid, that you got paid for the work that you do, it was beyond the transaction. It was a relationship.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn the hard way and very quickly that companies don't have relationships. They're not in marriages. They don't have emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
They have goals and targets and people that are there to push and meet those goals and targets. And the fact that I aligned with that for so long did not mean that I was in the relationship I thought I was in.
Yes, and yes, but particularly for the younger women that are coming up in this journey, that is so important. Now, I don't believe in regret, meaning, it's easy to look back, right, and say, and I'm not suggesting you should. What I want to know is if you had to take a 30,000-foot view
Yes.
of your time there, what might you, if you were the puppet master of D, what might you have done to say, no, don't do that? Was there anything?
I think you can, Monday morning quarterbacking is always easy to do. It's not a thing when you're in it, though.
That's right.
So were there things that I did that contributed to the situation that came about? Absolutely. Were there things that I could have thought about different or, planned a little different? Perhaps. But I actually don't have any regrets. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about who I wasn't. And what I learned more importantly was that all those titles and all those awards and all those recognition, all that stuff really didn't define me. It defined the work that I did. And there's a difference between the work and my capabilities for working and who I am. And so it's very easy to get lost in that when people are like, oh, great job, you're superb, you're this, you're that. And you're like, wow, me? And then the moment that something happens, they're like, well, maybe you should try harder. At what?
Excuse me? Right.
And so, you can always try harder, but it was a blow mostly to my ego because I had been able to navigate for so long. And so I don't think that I could not have navigated, but I had to figure out who I really wanted to be in this world, and did I just want to be known for the great work?
Right. So then in that, if you had a younger person that was coming behind you, do you think, and I don't think there's answers for everything, sometimes you just have to go through it, right? But is there anything you could think of that a person might do that would help them check in with themselves, even if it's literally setting a tickler?
Yeah.
To say, how are you feeling?
I thought the recognition was what made me happy. I thought that the accomplishments were what made me happy. And those do to an extent. But at the end of the day, when it was all gone, I was like, uh-oh, what is it that really makes me happy?
Yes.
Who am I? I don't have this title anymore. Now, people aren't going to be coming to me asking me for things because I don't have it to give anymore. And so I had to really think about, who is it that you want to be? And so when I think about all of the philanthropic initiatives and things that I did, it was really around economic and educational opportunities for minorities. And I had to come back to myself on that. If that's really what you're trying to do, great that you were able to leverage this company to meet those needs that you think you have, but now you got to do it yourself, girl, and how are you going to do it now?
So in it, you still identified your gift. I think that's big. I heard questions, that there are questions you can ask yourself outside of this title. Who am I? I know what I do, but who is it that I am, and what is that offering? Okay, so you get to the end of this corporate journey, and this force in the universe, whatever company, and now you're out. Now what happens?
I didn't know what to do. And when I don't know what to do, I just keep moving. And so I thought, I've always wanted to do this. I don't have that. I thought about a lot of things, but in my effort to keep moving, I decided to help my godbrother with his company that he'd had for years and just was kind of, moseying along. I didn't have time to help him previously because I had such a demanding career and a family and, all sorts of things. And so once I got in, I was like, oh, I can fix this. And I did. And then I thought, this is small business. This is not big corporate. You actually have to navigate and learn some things a little bit differently. That's right. Rolled them up. I took seminars. I put myself in classes. I aligned myself with people that knew. So it was a very humbling experience because I was used to being in a different place. But it reminds me of sort of this Japanese word shoshin, which really means to approach something from a beginner's mind. And that is what I had to do. I didn't know. It's a security company. I didn't know security. I knew I wanted people protecting me in certain situations. That was about it, but I didn't know. And so I really had to approach it from a beginner's mind and not assume that because I had done so well in business that I could do so well with this business.
So now I'm hearing, like you said a second ago, it was humbling.
Very humbling.
The beautiful thing, again, you all have seen anything else, my good thing, bad thing, who knows, in your, however it happened that you left banking, there was a humility that came with that, but you didn't resist it. And I'm not saying that it felt good.
No.
I'm not saying that you loved it. I'm saying that you leaned into it. And then you could take that humility into this space, and your ego had already been shut down a little bit. So what you had to lean on now was skill and that open mindset.
Yes. And guess what? Humility is grounded in ignorance.
Say more.
Humilities. And so you can't be humble and think you know everything. You can't be humble and be accepting. Right. You can't be humble and think I'm at the top. Humility is grounded in ignorance. It means that you have to learn, that you have to open up, that you have to clear your mind for space to take in something new. And so that is what I had to remind myself of.
Love. I'm also learning new things about Dee this interview. These are going to be great for me. All right, so now you fixed it, and was your plan to fix it and leave?
I didn't know what my plan was going to be. And so I knew what my experience was. So I did start a company. I started Value-Based Business Strategies, and I became a certified executive coach, and I provide business consulting. And I started to gain clients based off of my network. But I'm going to tell you, I have a crazy network, but I was scared to use it.
Why?
I was scared to use it because having left up here and now being down here actually my confidence took a little beating. And so I knew I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the technology. I had my experience and the ability to try to pull those things together. But because I think as African American women, we think we got to show up ready. I didn't know that I was ready. And so I actually did not dip too deeply into my network because I wasn't confident that I was ready.
The imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome at its finest.
Imposter syndrome is fascinating because it can rotate, right? So imposter syndrome may leave you in this current position, but it shows up somewhere else. And I don't know that it's always a terrible thing because I think it keeps us wanting to be on our toes.
Yes.
If we feel too confident in it, we never have shoshin.
Right.
And then we always think, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't know, but you ended up starting to grow the company and while running your values business. And did you also have the dispensary?
Yeah. So what I started to learn was that there were people that still valued my skills. And so I got tapped to do a lot of little projects, right? So one was a cannabis infusion company. So I became the community development person for that. Which really meant that I was going to the politicians saying, hey, can you get this thing approved? But nonetheless, so I was doing that. I started Values-Based Business Strategies, which is executive coaching and business consulting. And then I was managing Halo. So at the time, which is the security company. At the time, my godbrother couldn't pay me, so he gave me equity in the company. That changed my mindset too. I was like, oh, I'm actually working for me. Oh, this is something that I can actually grow. That was easier for me to grow.
Yes.
Because of the nature of the business. But it's so all three things were going at the same time. And then I had to say, well, what's first, Dee?
Right.
What's first?
Yes.
And not to, thank God my children are grown, and thank God my husband hung in there with me. But I had to determine what's going to be first. And part of what I still have to think about today is how to prioritize and what I'm going to let go. So, having the career that I have and all these things, these organizations on these, nonprofit boards, and I got to prioritize, because now that I actually get to work for me, I have to think about it differently.
Yeah.
My time is the most valuable thing I have, and I can't just give it away to things that are not going to yield me something too. Now, I want to help people. I want to help my people so bad.
Yep.
But I have to put it in its right place so that I don't forget where I'm really trying to go.
And the fulfillment, I'm not saying fulfillment is a new concept, but it is I find that people, I'm busy, I have all these things, I have all these people.
That was me.
I have all these events,
And
right?
I'm tackling it today. Yes.
And so then the question becomes, in this journey, how do we make what goes in the cup, in our vessel, in our lives, in our time, in the thing that we've been giving, how do we make it satisfying, fulfilling? How do you think about that differently? And do you have a process that sort of says yes to this, no to this, based upon that at this point?
One simple thing that I do different is I don't ask questions for things that I don't want to work to solve.
You don't ask questions for things you don't want, because why put that even in your mental space?
Yes, because I'm a solver. I am a problem solver. I am the resiliency. Oh, the sky's falling. I know, we can get a couple screws and just tack it right here. We'll be good.
She's not lying.
That's me, right? And so I got to the point where I said, if you ask, then you need to be ready to respond. And so people will ask, how's your son and his girlfriend doing? I don't know. How's your neighbor from blah, blah? I haven't seen her for a while.
Right.
And so I had to determine that I need my time back.
Yeah.
And for the time that I get to create for myself, because it is a creation of time, where is it best spent so that I get what I need back? And which friends or which organizations, because some of them are draining and some of them can be fulfilling. And so for the ones that are draining, I'm starting to let them go. And it's hard because the hard thing is, I'm a commitment chick. I'm literally like, I committed. I got to do it. Oh my God, I got to go to the bar mitzvah. I've never met the child, but I've known the mother for 20 years. That child don't give a damn if I'm there. But the mother's going to be like, oh, you didn't even come, right? And so figuring out how to gently and kindly say, I'm so glad you thought of me, and I'm so sorry I can't be there.
Absolutely. And on this journey, as many of you know, we are railing against should, have to, got to, expected to, and putting our why in view. So, and then the other part of that from our belief system is that I and others are responsible for their own emotions. I'm responsible for my emotions. So me not being able to do something, or you not, however disappointed they are, has nothing to do with you.
No. And that's a hard thing to grasp. It's hard. Here's the mistake I made. I did so much to build up people's confidence in me, and to build up their confidence in knowing that I'm always going to show up when I'm supposed to. And that started with, during my career, I had young kids and I had to travel, I had to be places. And so we would sit down and look at their soccer schedules, and we color code them so that everything in red, mom had to be there no matter what. It's a bad team, a bad ref, they talk about us, like whatever that is. And everything in green was mom is going to try to be there, but she might not make it.
Okay.
And then, I'm confused the colors. Yellow was like, there's no way she could be here. She's got to be in Europe or wherever she's going to be. But what I did in my effort for my kids to know when to expect me so they didn't feel like I was just missing all the time, I actually started to apply to other people indirectly.
Interesting. It became a mindset.
It became a mindset. Oh my God. It was a mindset. And so I've had to retract now and say, I would love to come, let me see. I don't RSVP to everything. And oftentimes I might decline. And then if it's something that I can work out or, that I think is worthy of my time, frankly, then I might change my reservation. But I can't be everywhere. I'm grateful for all of the friends and the communities that I'm a part of, but I can't show up to everything. And even if I could, I have got to make time for who I'm still trying to be.
Yeah. So when you said that was hard for you to know that people are disappointed and this part of this might not be an answer to give here, but what does it mean to you for people to be disappointed?
Oh, it's a direct attack on my character or something in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I'm learning as I continue on this journey is it okay for me to be disappointed in myself? Because when I'm disappointed in myself, then that slows down my thinking process, my strategy process. I'm like, oh, I should have done this. And I don't have time to be caught up in that. And so I have got to figure out what is it that is worthy of my time, that is worthy of my attention. And that's where I got to go. And the rest of it, I'm not saying don't make time for loved ones. I'm not saying, don't do things. But I am saying that I have to be more strategic. I'm running 2 businesses. By the grace of God, they're both doing well. Halo has grown 868% in 5 years. Okay. So that's exciting, right?
See, my friends are dope.
But you know what it also
Label
means?
on the table.
It's a bunch of shit going on.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That is also what it means.
And so, even I love Monica to be here. I had a new contract start May 1st. The amount of grind to make sure that everything is in place because this was worthy of my time but that's what you have to do, right?
Yes.
And so to be able to plan to do things.
Yes.
Instead of just showing up here, there, is too distracting. It's not very productive for me. And so it's a decision that I have to make every day.
And I'm going back to what is so critical in the Good Old Girls Network for all of the women is to identify your why. Because if you can get crystal, if the why is all about external expectations, sit tight. Don't do it. There's a lot of regret in that space when it is just all about what other people wanted you to do because you don't want to let them down because no one owes you anything.
Yeah.
Dee did not owe me her time today. And because of this work, there's no offense ever.
Yeah.
I believe that people are doing the best they can. So along the lines of talking about fulfilling things, what are some of the things that are most fulfilling to you right now?
The things that are most fulfilling for me, one, obviously, I'm a finance chick. I like to be financially stable. It's a thing. I don't know. But besides that stability, spending quality time with my family is fulfilling. And when I say quality time, I mean playing dumb games, Uno, something stupid where we're not all thinking. But we're just having a good time and enjoying each other's company. That is very fulfilling to me. There are certain people that when I spend time with them and we bounce ideas off of each other, we randomly have conversations about what's happening in life, that's fulfilling. When I sit with you on the beach and the sun is shining and we're randomly talking about whatever and we get into, that's fulfilling to me.
Yes.
Because it's not required. There are no expectations. And it's just good old here you go without me thinking, oh, I'm coming to Monica to fill my cup today.
Yes. It's not an agenda.
It's not an agenda, but it is experiences that resonate with your soul, with your spirit, with your direction in life that you don't have to put the burden on somebody else to do, but it happens because you're in good company, because you are, with people that are of the same mindset, that also are striving for the same kinds of things that you share values with.
Yeah.
And so those values bring you together. How you share them is really the fulfilling part.
What is an area where you would like to be more fulfilled?
I'm still learning.
Okay.
I'm still learning. But I do think that there is, life keeps lifing. And there are so many things that just pull a lot out of you, and you don't immediately know what will put it back. But I think it's still a journey that I'm learning. And, I hope that as I continue to grow and learn even more about myself, because boy, have I learned a lot in the past few years, that I get more clarity on that. But even if I never do, even if I get the short or small bursts of things that fulfill my cup, I'm good with that too, as long as I don't keep emptying it out. I do need things to come back into it. Solid things, things that I can stand on, things that are important to me, things that I can share with other people that I love.
This was amazing. It exceeded my expectations. The experience. This is my first podcast with Cupful Conversations that I'm filming with Dee, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I know you're going to get a lot out of it. Thank you so much for joining me on Cupful Conversations. Tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, I'm terrible at social media. Just awful.
Websites.
But I am on LinkedIn.
Awesome. There we go. Under.
So you can find me on LinkedIn. I think I'm on value-based business strategies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Values-based business strategies.
Yes.
Find her on LinkedIn. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Dee.
Thank you,
So
Monica.
appreciate it. All right. We'll see you next time.
It's our time, it's our
Thank
time,
you so
it will
much for
make it
tuning in to this episode of Cupful Conversations, presented by the Good Old Girls Network and hosted by yours truly, Monica Koss. I hope today's conversation poured something meaningful into your cup. Whether it was a fresh insight, a shifted perspective, or the nudge you didn't know you needed. And I'd love to know what resonated with you most. If you're feeling inspired, here are 3 simple ways to stay connected. 1, follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. 2, grab a copy of my book, The Things I Used to Do to Sneeze, How to Live an Authentic Life, for deeper reflections and tools on your fulfillment journey. 3, join the Good Old Girls Network, where connection, support, and growth are a way of life. And hey, if you enjoyed the episode, would you leave a quick review? It helps more women find this space and fills our cup too. Have a topic you want to explore? Send us a message or drop it in the comments. We want to hear from you. Until next time, keep choosing you, keep pouring into yourself, and remember, a full cup overflows for the benefit of all.